And this is probably rock chips down here. These tires, they throw a lot of crap right up the fender on these Broncos. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Monday, late morning, and we're back on the Bronco again. Today, our plan is we're going to start with getting the cooling put back in. We have a new radiator from Ford. That one that I received last week was damaged, so we got a new one in. That's all assembled and ready to go over there. We got to finish up a couple things on the AC lines here. I think it's just this one connection here, and then we can start setting the cooler in. We'll get our condenser hooked up. Then we'll get some coolant in it. Today's goal, if all goes well anyways, is to get this thing ready for paint. Cameron worked on it a little bit over the weekend, but she really hates wet sanding. That's why I make her do it. And then, so she got a lot of it done. I have a lot to finish up, but it's all right. So we got the radiator all finished up. It's all full of coolant. Everything's topped off that way, and it's great because now it took it out of limp mode. Now we got throttle response again, so we're getting there. So we're going to switch over to getting this thing ready for paint tonight. We're going to start with this fender here. We're going to show you on this fender here around this wheel well, right around this area. It had a lot of gouges from, I'm assuming, a barbed wire fence. So we DA'd all those out and just fill them with the glazing putty, 3 coats of primer, and then you see this black texture on this guide coat. Basically, it's just a aerosol that we spray on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to block this area out, and it's going to show us. Basically, we got to take the black off. But if it stays, if there's a dent here, that black's going to stay there. And that's what's going to tell us if we're ready for paint or not. So I'll zoom you in here. We'll just block this out. So this is 320 dry sand for now, and then I'll switch to 400 once I'm happy with it. So this is dry surface. This primer's been on here for 4 days now. So basically, we're just going to work off the body line, and you can see them starting to come through right here. There's a little scratch there, a little scratch there, a little scratch there. Once you break through the primer, you're done. Can't get it any closer than that. And again, this is just dry. You can do this with 400 grit wet sand also, but I'm assuming it's going to need a little touch of glaze on a few spots. So we're just going to 320 it, and then we'll go over it with 400 when we're ready. All right, so this is the glaze we'll be using to fix those little dings. This is by Evercoat. It's a glaze. It's not a body filler. It's for very little nicks and scratch, like the top coat. If this was a big dent, you'd use Bondo, you know, the aggressive stuff to fill. This is just a glaze. Same mixture, about 50 to 1. Doesn't take much. And we don't need a lot. Don't stir it. If you stir it, you basically induce air bubbles into the filler. And then when you sand it out, you got these little pinholes. You always want to mix it this way. This is the recommendation from the manufacturer. And I've done it. I used to stir it all the time, and I always had little pinholes and everything. So basically just smear it out, and that's going to help to remove the air out of the pin. So we're just going to put a little glaze on there, and again, we blocked this out with 320 before. So there's plenty for this to bite onto. And the rule is, if you can feel it, you're going to see it. So if you can feel the nick or you can feel the scratch, you're going to see it in the paint when it's done. We don't want that. Can't even feel that one. And not even, I can't feel those. I'm not going to worry about them. And that's it. All right, so we let that little coat of glaze fill. Actually, we'll look at them real quick to show you kind of how thin that is. You can still see the black spray paint through the glaze. That's how light of a coat that is. But it took care. I can't feel it no more, so we're good to go. There's a couple nicks, same thing. I'll take care of. So we're going to show you a couple things here. So 400 on the fender, 1000 grit on the door. I know the light doesn't show well, but so basically I started at the back of the door. You can see how dull that is right there. And you can see where the 1000 grit paper pretty much ran out of steam. That piece is done, we're ready for a new one. This is where you get into trouble at, is all the shininess still in here. This is all flat red right here. That's scuffed really well, that's red, pretty much ready to go. This here is not. If we clear coat over top of this again, and then you go to the power wash, it's gonna stay at the power wash. Back up to the fender, I left this on purpose. So you can see right here how nice and feathered out that primer is. Nice transition from the primer to the paint. You can see this right here. You can see the orange peel kind of from here to here. That tells me that that primer is on top of the paint. It's not adhered to it. It's sitting on top of shiny paint underneath, right underneath it here. This isn't, I know it's not, but this is on top of shiny paint. I can tell by that orange peel right there. Again, if we don't sand that down, to get down. Basically, we got to take all this primer off, just this section right here, get down to the red, make that nice and dull. You can see the shiny right around here. If we don't get that primer off and we paint over top of that, the paint's going to stick to this, no problem. But that's not stuck to the fender. So again, might not happen instantly, but someday you're going to go to the power wash and all of a sudden that section of paint is just going to blow off the truck. So you got to watch all them spots, make sure everything's feathered out real nice. Again, everything's feathered out real nice here. You don't see any of that orange peel. Basically the telltale is the shiny underneath it. That's texture right there. That's the orange peel of the paint from the factory. That's how I know that that's on top of that. Up here, I scuffed this down with 320 grit sandpaper. So all the orange peel is gone. And the primer's on top of the surface, and it is adhered to the surface. And again, if you look back here, see it's shiny right here. We have to, that all has to get stuffed off. So basically, I wet sand it, and then I rinse it off. Hang on, my phone jumped me. Then I rinse it off, dry with a chamois, let it air dry for a minute, and that'll tell you everything. I need to do a better job here. I need to do a better job up in this area on this corner. We got to go over it until it's perfect. You're not going to paint until that thing, all the shine is gone. All the sheen has to be removed before we paint. All right, we got everything ready to go here for the most part. Got the hood wet sanded and on. Wish we had the hood stops, but we don't. Just ordered them today because I didn't realize we didn't have them. So, where are we at? 400 on the hood, 400 on the fenders, 1,000 grit on the doors, just like we talked about. Wheels and tires are off because they're going in tomorrow morning, no, tomorrow afternoon, to switch the tire pressure monitors over to the new wheels and tires and get them ready to go. So tonight we're going to, I got some time to kill here, so we're going to go ahead and get masking it up so it's ready to go. I got the truck set as low as I can for the most part so I can reach the center of that hood. So it's kind of nice to take the wheels and tires off for that reason. So basically I'm just going to set it up on a time lapse so I can turn the music back on because I hate working in the quiet, but YouTube makes us work in the quiet because you can't have music in the background. So that's what we're going to do. Sound good? Good. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap it up for this one. It's after 10 at night on a Monday night. Luckily Connor got home from work. He helped me finish getting it masked up. Saved me a little bit of time. So it's masked up, it's on the stands. We wiped it down with wax and grease remover already. I ran the tack cloth over it once, so I'll re-tack it again in the morning. Basically the plan is to get out here, get an early start. Everything's ready to go so we can just get straight to painting. And then from there, try to get this done before Cam gets off work at 2:30. Tomorrow we're going to get the wheels and tires done for it because it's her only afternoon off this week. And then I'm going to be gone this weekend. So we're going to go out and get the wheels and tires done tomorrow. I got to pick up a Nissan Rogue out that I got sitting out there anyways. And then if all goes well Wednesday, we'll start putting it back together and get this thing on the road again. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.